Welcome back, focused learners. It is absolutely fantastic to have you here for another explainer. You know exactly what we do here, right? We take the complex, the massive, the totally intricate, and we break it all down so it actually makes sense. Today, we're dissecting a massive piece of healthcare industry news right out of the Business Standard. We're looking at a corporate acquisition that is literally shifting the physical landscape of medical care.
Okay, let's dive into this. Rs 908 crore. Just let that sink in for a second. Before we even talk about who signed the checks or what the big strategic implications are, we really have to grasp the sheer shock and awe of this figure. In healthcare infrastructure, a capital mobilization of nearly 1,000 crore rupees, that's not just an investment. That is a massive, market-reshaping footprint. It's the kind of commitment that rewrites regional markets and sets a completely new benchmark for how we value these assets.
And honestly, when capital of this magnitude moves, it's about way more than just a real estate transaction. It's a massive medical acquisition. In today's market, 908 crore buys you immediate, top-tier operational capacity. Think of this transaction value as the main character of our story today. We're looking at a major capital expenditure designed to grab a tangible asset that instantly expands the buyer's reach. It sets the stakes, it dictates the scale, and it shows just how serious this market maneuvering really is.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how we can visually isolate the key players in this high-stakes equilibrium. On one side, you've got Manipal Health. They're a rapidly expanding pan-India healthcare powerhouse, and they are aggressively boosting their bed capacity. And on the other side, the target, a highly valuable, strategically located hospital property right in Andheri. This move brings a massive national player straight into the heart of one of Mumbai's most densely populated and, frankly, most lucrative medical corridors. To make sure we're anchored firmly in the facts here, let's read the exact phrasing directly from the source headline. The Business Standard reported, Manipal Health buys Andheri hospital property for Rs 908 crores. It's so important to look at that literal foundation. This direct, confirmed action is a huge deal because urban land scarcity makes mega hospital projects in Mumbai incredibly rare. The Business Standard is highlighting this deal because an acquisition of this size, it instantly rewrites the competitive hierarchy in the city.
So how do we actually wrap our heads around a headline of this magnitude? Well, we're going to use an anatomy of a deal structure today. We're putting a microscope on these isolated facts to understand the deeper complexities at play. We really want to get down to the very bones of this transaction, looking way beyond that giant price tag to see the location strategy, the regulatory advantages, and the immediate capacity boost this creates for the buyer.
Let's really define the acquisition itself. Securing a physical footprint in Andheri specifically, that is a highly targeted premium real estate move. This isn't just generic spending. Andheri isn't just any neighborhood, it is a massive residential and commercial hub in Mumbai. By acquiring this specific property, Manipal is tapping into an instant, high-density patient base. They're positioning themselves exactly where the demand for premium, multi-specialty care is heavily concentrated. Let's move to and see how this builds, walking through the fundamental mechanics of the buyout step by step. When we boil this transaction down, we see the absolute strategic brilliance of speed. Step 1. Manipal Health commits the Rs 908 crore capital. Step 2. The Andheri hospital property changes hands. But what's really happening behind the scenes here is the purchase of time. Building a new hospital from the ground up takes years. Complex zoning, regulatory approvals, heavy construction. Acquiring an already built asset? It means entirely bypassing that timeline for immediate market deployment. Game changer, right?
Now, let's step back for a second and look at the big picture. We really have to acknowledge what this means for massive consolidation in the medical space. A move like this forces us to look at the entire competitive landscape. As national chains acquire prime regional assets, we're seeing a major shift towards centralized operational networks. It fundamentally changes who controls the available beds, the specialized care facilities, and the regional market share in Mumbai's private healthcare sector. It's a lot to think about.
So the crucial point is when we synthesize the variables we just fractured out, the raw magnitude of that Business Standard report becomes perfectly clear. Let's recap the core facts. The buyer, Manipal Health, hasn't just mobilized 908 crore for building in Andheri. They have purchased an immediate, massive operational advantage. They're significantly expanding their footprint and, at the exact same time, locking out competitors from a prime piece of urban healthcare infrastructure.
Which brings us to a final thought to ponder as you go about your day. What does an acquisition of this scale mean for the future of healthcare properties? If a single strategic footprint in Andheri commands a 908 crore premium, how is this going to shape the future of urban medical care? As massive capital continues to consolidate physical territory,
How will that change the way we as patients actually experience and access healthcare in our increasingly crowded cities? Keep learning, keep questioning, and I'll see you in the next explainer.